head of the Daily Signal, a major news site. Rob was at Heritage for years, where I knew him, where I guess this started there and you spun it off. I always go to Daily Signal early in the morning to see what you guys are talking about. I was kind of shocked today, and we're the leaders in the deconstruction of the administrative state. We're huge supporters of DOGE to do it. Rob, you had a piece there, and we keep saying the administrative state and deep state are not there. They're not going to follow President Trump's orders. There's going to be some resistance, but you guys have a poll up that says I think it's 50% of the administrative state. 50% say that they're going to basically form a resistance to President Trump. Walk me through that.
Steve, God bless you for making your audience and conservatives aware more broadly of this problem. You have warned that we shouldn't fall into a false sense of complacency. The legacy media has been telling us for weeks now everyone's bending a knee to Trump and writing big checks to Trump, and the resistance isn't there, and we should not expect anything like what we saw in 2017. Well, this poll should disprove all of that. And that's because, as you just pinpointed, nearly half of federal government managers are planning to do exactly what they did during the first term, and that is resist Trump at every turn. In fact, if you look specifically at the number of federal employees who voted for Kamala Harris, 2/3 of them have said that they will outright ignore directives from the president or do things that they can in their power to resist him from carrying out his agenda. This is the reality of what is going on in Washington, D.C. right now, a week before President Trump takes office.
So this is why the confirmations, we kept saying, guys, you got to bring those forward and you got to flood the zone, because he needs the cabinet heads, but you still got, none of the second or third tier people. You do have the 3,000 when you send in day one, but those executive orders, Rob, that he's going to sign in this ceremony next week, and let's say there's 50, and they're all in different aspects. A lot dealing with the securing the border and deportations, some dealing with trade and tariffs, some dealing with these wars, and many other things like the woke nature. Signing an executive order in the Oval Office is ceremonial, and it's obviously it codifies it, but you have to force it through the system. The shocking thing about your poll is you say right out of the box, Trump is like in Saigon in 1966. The enemy, you don't know where they are, who they are, but you know they're out there and they're embedded, sir.
Yeah, there are 3 million federal employees. I mean, it's a massive bureaucracy, and this is a problem that is decades in the making. I mean, if you go back probably even 100 years to Woodrow Wilson's administration, I mean, you have had a situation where Democrats have just done a much better job of burrowing into these agencies, and they stay there. Republicans leave office, whether it's George W. Bush or Donald Trump, and usually people leave. And in the case of Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, Joe Biden, people stay, and they stay for a purpose. They stay to enact their agenda, not the president's agenda. This is why we are big advocates that the president should have the executive authority and the ability to fire these individuals who don't follow his directives. And so to your point about Senate confirmations, I think that it's imperative on the 53 Republican senators to move with urgency to get these cabinet secretaries in place, and then move with urgency to get their deputies in place, because they're oftentimes the ones who are going to be on the front lines while the secretaries are out there testifying and doing other things that come with those official duties. You have a situation now where, yes, this week is packed with confirmation hearings, but I'm not confident that President Trump is going to start day one with his team in place. I mean, he may have a few people in place, maybe a Marco Rubio, maybe Pete Hegseth gets confirmed. If you look at what happened with Biden, though, Democrats moved with urgency to make sure he had everybody in place that he needed on day one, January 20th, 2021, to carry out the executive orders and make sure that they were actually enforced. And Donald Trump needs to have that same sense of urgency. And I hope that Republicans in the Senate give him the team that he has nominated so he can do that.